Hare Krishna, hello everyone. So basically, I'm here because one of the person who usually takes he gave me the opportunity here as well as my mentor. So I'll try my best and to deliver about the shaman the snake series. So how to control ourselves? Like you have posted in the group that how can we control when things are not going good. We think that we need to be calm. You know, when things are not good, we want to do the right thing, although we might not feel that I want to do that, but we know that this is right. So how to do that? How to keep our composure? So all these things, and you know how to do decide the right thing, how not to lose our cool, etc. So many of these things in perspective to Bhagavad Gita we are going to explore today from our Bhagavad Gita chapter 2.61 to 65. So I will just offer my prayers and we'll start from there. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वर्षमानसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. Right? So we will start with our today's first verse. So it's from Bhagavad Gita 2.61 to Bhagavad Gita 2.65, these five verses. So 6.61 says, Yani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matpara vashehi yatindriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. And the translation goes, one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. That, and the purpose is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, that the highest conception of yoga, perfection, is Krishna consciousness, is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked up water with Maharaj Ambarish, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful a yogi as the sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustices and thereby emerged victorious. The king able to control his senses because of the following qualification as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 9.4.18 to 20. Savaimanna Krishna Padaravindayor Vacham Savaikunta Kundara Varmane Karo Hare Mandira Marjana Dishu Shrutim Chakrachyuta Sakro Kathodaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drashavu Tatpratyagatre Sparshe Angas Sangamam Granam Chata Paras Saroj Sorve Srimatulasya Rasanam Tad Arpite Pado Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane Shiro Rishikesha Padami Mandane Kamam cha dasye na tu kama kamaya yato tamasloka janashriyariti. King Ambaris speaks his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotees, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated, is held in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. And all this qualification made him fit to become a Matpara devotee of the Lord. The Matpara is more significant in this connection. How one can become a Matpara, just in the life of Maharaj Ambarish. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Matpara, remarks, Mat Bhakti Prabhavena Swant Sarvendriya Vijaya Purvika. Swama Drishta Sulabheviti Bhavaha. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Although the example of fire is sometimes given as a blazing fire, burns everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something other than Vishnu simply waste their time in a vain search after some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of God. This is the aim of real yoga. So, alright. So let's try to understand. Okay, we are able to read all those things. We sometimes get influenced that okay, we want to live a life perfectly. We want to have control over ourselves. We want to choose the right thing. Sometimes we do New Year resolutions. We want to change our life. We need to get better. But self-discipline usually becomes a little bit tough. So when we become angry, we don't want to say. So we know the right thing is to control ourselves. Sometimes people do some mistake. But at the same time, because we feel that anger or urge, we sometimes say. So how to choose what is right over what we feel pretty okay? It's easy to do, but it is wrong. Saying something bad out of anger is easy, but actually it is wrong. We know that. And at the same time, controlling ourselves is right, but it's little bit difficult. So how to get this discipline so that many of the times many of the problems in our life can get solved through this. So let's try to understand how we can do it. Let's try to understand it. So the first thing which we need to understand is that in stressful situations, we have a saying that we would have seen in many places that don't say anything when you are angry, don't commit anything when you are happy, and don't make any decisions when you are sad. So all this thing, we can see that all these points is what we are trying to do. So to achieve that, how can we do that? So the first thing what we need to understand is that to do all these things is what basically we have been seeing as controlling the senses. So senses in the sense it is eyes. When we don't want to say something wrong, so it is basically about tongue. We don't want to get angry or feel resentful. What we say. So basically controlling our mind. So basically these senses are what actually we need to control. So in Bhagavad Gita, when we read, then what we see is that to do all these things, the right and the wrong, there are two things we see, that the mind, that is mind, and that is intelligence. So when we feel that I want to do this, sometimes we get that craving that I want to eat something, but we are trying to do a diet plan, or we are trying to follow a good lifestyle. So that time what happens, mind says that I want to eat it, but intelligence, what we say, no, actually we can't do this. Maybe we can do it next week. So that let 10 to 15 days go, then one day we will do a cheat day. So that is okay. So for doing that, basically what happens, one side there is a mind which is saying to do the pretty thing, which is not right, but it wants to do that. And one side there is intelligence, which wants to do the right thing, but it is a little bit difficult. So between these two, how to become steady? So that is the reason when we study here in this verse, what it said, that one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control. So senses, as we said, it's the mind. So mind and the other bodily organs. So who controls that and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a mind of steady intelligence. So that's why here the focus is basically mainly on intelligence, so that we are able to decide or discriminate between what is right and wrong. If you want to do a right thing, first of all, we should know what is right. So first we should be having the ability to be calm, decide that okay, in this situation what is right. Okay, for example, if I want to go to the gym, but I'm feeling little bit, the temperature is 5 degrees, so I don't feel like going out. So what I need to do, I just need to plan. Okay, see the weather, have proper clothing. In that way, at least I need to plan such that I can go. And in that way, what happens that we can choose to go to the gym and stay disciplined. So this is the first important step which we need to take. So having that steady intelligence is very very important. So we can see that many times we want to have control over ourselves, but we sometimes lose it. So this steady intelligence is the most important thing which we want to achieve. This is what overall the topic about the snake charmers is which we was speaking. So this is coming to this conclusion. Any doubt in that what we are going to start with? Am I clear till now? What is snake charmer, Prabhuji? Yeah, basically I'm going to come here. That till now what we see, we want to choose the right thing over pretty thing. Okay. So that is what we are trying to achieve. So how to, and for that we need the proper intelligence. So for this, just as we see in the example that we don't want to eat something bad, or eat something junk or eat some sweets, but still out of craving we do. Sometimes we don't want to get angry and we still we get angry. So in all these things, just like it is, let's compare this. So basically, if we see a snake, so snake is like it's dwindling like this and like that, and suddenly it immediately runs away somewhere. So it's just quickly it runs away. So in the same way, when something comes, like if we smell something good, so immediately what happens? We get a craving. Oh, I want to eat that sweet. Or sometimes we are sitting to read something, or I'm trying to focus to read something. In my work, I'm trying to plan. Okay, this is the work. How I need to execute, etc. That time also mind immediately becomes flickering. Or sometimes we sit to maybe plan something, plan our finances, and that time it makes plan for going on a vacation. So where I'm trying to save, I'm making plans for making more expenses. So like this, we can see our senses, our mind, and everything are very flippant. They immediately run away. Just like a snake immediately diverts and runs away. So these senses are what is compared to a snake. So basically, we don't want our mind to be flickering. Like if we say that in any situation, we say that we want to be steady. So steady, if you want to have a steady intelligence, we don't want the mind to be very flickering. For example, if we are having anger, we don't want to contemplate on the same thought. Will be the next was dealing exactly with that. So basically, what happens that to have a steady intelligence is take an example of a horse. So basically, what happens in most of our life that is think that the horse is there and we are riding a horse, and suddenly the horse is going out of the track. So what happens? Just if you're going to drag it, that don't go. Okay, all right, it will stop for some time. But if you're simply not going to take it back on the right track, till then it's not going to work. Because if it is going like this and suddenly it sees something and suddenly it goes that side, then first of all you need to control it. Okay, don't go that side. Then we need to show the right direction. Like this, using the wheels, show the right direction, and eventually it will come on the track. So it's the same thing happens with our life also, with our mind also. What happens? We try to control. Okay, somebody told something bad to me, so I won't tell something bad. Or okay, there is a sweet before me. Okay, I will control myself. I won't eat that. But problem is we stop at a level of controlling it. We say that mind don't do. But if we simply stop at a level of not doing, then it is going to be difficult. Because what the problem is, externally we have stopped it. Externally we are telling the mind not to do it. But still internally, still the thought process is still going on. We are thinking, oh, he told me something bad. Then we say, no, don't do it. Then we say, no, he told me like this 7 days before also. We say, no, it's okay. Then we say, oh, yeah, always bad things happen to good people. So this is not fair. So basically, it keeps on churning the same thing. And in that process, if you are thinking that if you are just going to control it by, no, controlling your tongue and etc., that's not going to okay. Eventually, it will overpower you. If you are trying to follow a diet and if you are seeing something delicious, you are saying, no, we are following a diet. He will say, but it looks so good. If we say, no, we are following a diet, we should not cheat. Then he says, it's been 7 days and that is my favorite dish. So it is like, eventually what happens, then eventually we smell it, then eventually we turn to it, and you know what happens next. So basically what happens is, just controlling. Everybody has that experience. We try to control ourselves from not doing the wrong thing, but just controlling will not help us. The main thing is, first of all, that this is a famous saying that there is a method. Even in modern times, there is a method known as PEA, which is known as pause, evaluate, and act. So here you can see that first of all, pause is basically what? Hit the pause button. Basically, control yourself. Okay, my mind is or myself, I'm trying to do the wrong thing which I'm not expected to do, so I won't do. So control. This everybody knows. We have to control ourselves from doing the wrong thing. Now, the main thing comes the next. Next thing is evaluate. Okay, fine. So I'm not going to do the wrong thing. So what's the right thing? Okay, what should I do then? So basically, there is people always say that okay, don't just come with a problem, come with a solution. So basically, if something wrong is happening in my company, I know okay, the doing this will not help our company. So if I'm going to point out that we can't do this way, they will be like okay, nice, but they will also expect okay. So you found out the problem. So do you know what can we do about it? So in the same way, we need a solution as well. If you are saying in the mind that don't eat it, then we should also have an idea what else to do. Like if you are saying that there is some good dish before me, we are saying no, don't eat it. Good, okay. So you have not eaten it. Now you have got 5 minutes. The timer has started. So in this 5 minutes, or just an example of 5 minutes. So within that time, you need to give something constructive for the mind to do something. So, for example, okay, so if I'm not going to eat, okay, let's read some book, let's go outside, or some work is pending, let me do that. So, basically, until and unless we engage our mind, just like we are stopping the horse, then what we do, we redirect it to the right path. So, in the same way, same goes to the mind. We stop the mind from going in the wrong direction, then we redirect it in the right direction. So, when we do that, then eventually the mind comes under control. So if you are simply going to, pull the horse, then eventually it is going to go wild and it will run away. So in the same way, same thing happens with our mind. Eventually, if you are simply going to say mind to not do something, not do something, in that process itself, the mind is thinking, okay. So that is the main reason what we need to do. Good. First, restrict yourself. Good. Everybody does it because we want to do the right thing. But simply by restricting the mind, still in our mind we are thinking that thing. I want to eat that cake. Did something bad. So we need to redirect the mind to a better thing. And before some verses we read, Param Drishtva Nivartante. That when we get a higher taste, then the lower taste we are able to discard. So for that, in the same way, okay, the lower taste is what? Saying something bad. What is the higher taste? To control ourselves, then to choose something better to do, and in the meanwhile, think about why that person said to me. So in these ways, what happens? Eventually, we won't feel angry, resentful. So all these problems get solved, and at the same time, we are able to do something constructive. So in this way, things work. So if you are going to understand this, so spirituality is not something mythical. From this, we can understand. Eventually, we are going to cover many things are yet to come. But from this, we can understand that spirituality is not something mythical or something. It is more practical. That is why it is known as spiritual science. So through this, when we keep reading, we are able to assess or understand how we need to act. So that's why in the last lecture, we also had a talk that Bhagavad Gita or any scripture is basically what? A manual for life. Because if you want to live a life, we need something, right? If you want to run some machine, you need a manual so that you know, okay, how to utilize this, what button to press, etc. So in the same way, for life also, we have a manual. And those manuals are basically the holy scriptures. So through that, we can understand how to act and how to behave and etc. Everything. So that is the main reason that spirituality is also known as spiritual science. And it's not, if we are able to access it properly, we'll be able to lead a life properly. So what mainly that is the reason what spiritual science or spirituality does not alienate us. This is one of the concepts we have in mind. We think that whoever is spiritual is going to go away from the society. He will be like odd man out. Okay, they are spiritualists. These are people of society. These are spiritualists. But if you're going to see, if you're going to go deep, understand the essence, then you are trying to understand. We understand that actually spirituality does not alienate any person. But spirituality actually gives us the right purpose and the right behavior, how to act and how to behave, and in that way makes us a better person and makes society also better. And obviously, this is just the beginning. Just as soon as we start, this is what we get. So that is the main important thing is that once we start living as per the scriptures, obviously we need to understand that sometimes I can read something, but maybe I understood it wrongly. So that is the reason why we go to college professors. We ask them any doubts, whatever is there, they give us lectures. So in this way we understand, oh, okay, this is the meaning of it. For example, in science or chemistry, I can say, okay, CH3, CH2, but I won't understand much. So I need a professor who is well versed with it so that he can guide me where I'm going wrong, where I'm going right. So in the same way, that is the main reason we come in association, like here, like we coming here to respond. So in that way, when we associate with people who are already following the scriptures, then it becomes easier. Sometimes we might have some doubt. How is it possible? So that time they say, practical experiences they say. So in that way, we are able to better understand how to do and what to do. So in this way, we can understand that spirituality does not alienate us, but it actually contributes to make us better and the society also better. And eventually, it doesn't end there. So what happens ultimately? Ultimately, as we were speaking, it ultimately helps us to connect. Okay, if you are saying that a parcel has come, a postman is coming, and he is coming with a money order. So when we open the money order, we are like we are having money. So we are very happy. Okay, we got some 1,000 euros. So we are happy. But obviously, we will think that who has sent this? Christmas present someone has sent. Who was it? Probably, maybe it was my mother, or maybe it was my brother. So basically, in the same way, how spirituality contributes to our well-being and society well-being. In the same way, ultimately, what it helps? Ultimately, it helps us to trace back our connection with God. So, connection with the Supreme is ultimately what scriptures help. So, scriptures not only help us understand what is right, then it guides us how to live that way and helps us to become better and ultimately, okay, so everything is sorted, you are living a good life, you are making others' life better, contributing to the society. Now, what we get after this? After this, you are able to connect to the Creator and the Supreme. So, this is what completely the spirituality or the part of spirituality is. So, in this way, spirituality in fact contributes to our life and society and does not, alienate us. So, this is the reason we need to get in touch with our scriptures. So, just to, and this is known as yoga. Maybe we talked about this word a little bit before. So basically, this is what we know connecting with the Supreme. This is what is called as yoga. So till now, is there any doubt to someone? Or is it clear? All right, okay, that's great. So after going forward through that, what we try to understand is okay. So just like a snake, basically what we do, that's a snake charmer. So what he does, he tries to control that snake. Slowly he plays the flute, and slowly the snake comes under control. Or sometimes if he goes somewhere wrong, he misses something, and or he cough comes. So what happens? Snake wakes up and he runs away. So in the same way, what happens? Our senses are always ready. Our mind is ready to get fluctuated somewhere, think of something. Our eyes, our ears are ready to do something. So basically, the topic was basically how to have steady intelligence to control our mind, control our activities, so that we can do the right thing. And how can we do that? So this to control these senses, we need to follow the process of yoga. So following the processes of yoga, what we actually do is we connect to Krishna or God, basically supreme. We say some say super consciousness, some say God, some say Krishna. So basically everything is one. So basically, ultimately we need to connect to the supreme. So just like who gives us this knowledge, obviously he also gives us the empowerment. That is the reason we are able to even understand this and we are able to go forward. So as we talked about the three things, first of all, we try to pause. So once we understood that what is right and what is wrong, so eventually what happens? And this is where intelligence starts. So we are studying the scriptures, we know what is right, so we start to control ourselves. So now we are not on the wrong path. Sometimes what happens? We think that this is right, but unfortunately that is also not right. Just like we have a GPS. So we might think, okay, let's go this way. Okay, this I don't think this is the right way. Okay, let's go here. Okay, let's go here. So if you're just going to think that what is the right way, so that might not be that much helpful. But if you're having Google Maps on your hand, you know what is the right path. So when we study the scriptures, that gives us the right geoposition system. It's like a Google Map, so we get the right direction. So when we try to control the mind, we already are convinced what is the right path to go. So if we are also hazy, if we are also hesitant that okay, should I do this or should I not do this? If we are already hesitant, then we won't be able to make a change. For example, if you want to go to a gym, they say right, we need a motivation. If you are not motivated at the first place, Then if the mind says, let's lie down, today it's very cold, let's lie down. And if you're not motivated that I want to go to the gym, it's obvious you won't be able to go to the gym. So in the same way, what it's needed, we need conviction or a motivation from within. So that is provided when we have the right knowledge. So when we study and we are connected to God or basically in our own life, what happens? We are first of all we get the right direction. Then with the right direction, what we can do? We can go on, we can control the mind. Then we can bring it on the right path and we can go further ahead. So in this way, so basically for study intelligence, what we need? For study intelligence, we need the right knowledge. So when we have the right knowledge, which comes from the scriptures, what happens? We are able to decide what is right, and as we said, we are able to engage it. So basically, when we are stopping the mind, stopping the horse, we are engaging it to move to the right direction. So in that way, not only should we stop the mind from doing what is wrong, but also we need to engage it in the right direction. Until and unless we engage the mind, what happens? Mind is nevertheless going to go on the wrong direction. So this is what we need to understand. That engages. So what happens wrong? So we might think, okay, so what is the wrong way? I just said what is the right way. So what is the wrong way? If we go in this direction, what happens? Let's try to understand why we should not go in that direction. Let's try to understand. So basically, ध्यायतो विषया पुंसां संगस्तेजोपजायते संगात् संजायते कामा कामा क्रोधोऽपि जायते. While contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the object of the senses. The senses require real engagement, just as we said. So we need to do something. So to have real, when we engage it, then we stay busy. So then what happens? It comes constant engagement. And if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the real world, anyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigods in the heavenly planets, is subjected to the influence of sense objects. And the only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi. But Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above mentioned verse of Sri Yamunacharya, a sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his here taste for spiritual enjoyment. In the association of Lord of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not therefore in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For his lightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires. Then Krodha Bhavati Samoha Samoha Smriti Viprama Smriti Brumsat Buddhi Nasho Buddhi Nasha Pranashati. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Sri Rupa Goswami has given us this direction. Papanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna mumukshuvi parityago vairagyam falgu kataye. By development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. Those who are without knowledge of Krishna consciousness artificially try to avoid material objects. And as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain to the perfect stage of renunciation. Their so-called renunciation is called falgu or less important. On the other hand, a person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord. Therefore, he does not become a victim of material consciousness. For example, for an impersonalist, the Lord or the Absolute being impersonal cannot eat, whereas an impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables. A devotee knows that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and he eats all that is offered to him in devotion. So, after offering good eatables to the Lord, the devotee takes a remnants called prasada. Thus, everything becomes spiritualized and there is no danger of a downfall. The devotee takes prasadam in Krishna consciousness, whereas the non-devotee rejects it as material. The impersonalist, therefore, cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation. And for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul Even though rising up to the point of liberation falls down again due to his not having support of devotional service. So, so why are we speaking about the wrong way? Right thing we understood. Okay, so we need to know what is right. Then we should know how to engage ourselves, and then we need to go on the right way. But the important and ultimately we saw that we need to get connected to the Supreme. So when we get ultimately get connected to the God, so just like there is a child, and child is thinking what to do and what not to do. He's confused, or probably he was playing and he broke a vessel of some neighbor and he is afraid that what should I do? Then what he does simply when he goes to his father, automatically her father does all the need. So in the same way, we understood that what is right. So now why are we discussing about the wrong path? So that we know that what when we should take the right turn. So for basically, we can say that for example, if you are going on a highway and suddenly who would have traveled in between. So basically, when there is a middle divider, we can understand that it is a main road. Whereas if there is no divider, that means it's a small sub road. So in the same way, when we know what is wrong, then it helps us to avoid that wrong thing. For example, if there is a fan which is running, so if the child is like, I want to touch it, I want to touch it. So basically, mother says, no, don't touch it. But if he's persisting, then mother what she does, she turns it off so that it slows down sufficiently. And when the child touches it, it doesn't hurt it much, but it pains. So he understands, okay, now onwards I won't touch that. So basically, for that purpose, we are given the idea that if we are going on the wrong path, then what happens? So that we know, okay, this we need to be precautious that when this happens, I should be careful. So going on this path, what we see that how it starts. It starts with Dhaito Visaya concept. So when we start to contemplate, so there are two things. First is contemplating, and other thing is seeing. So basically, we go somewhere. For example, let's take a perfect idea. Like we are going into a mall and we are seeing a latest Porsche model. So it is costing like I don't know, maybe 100,000 euros or something. So basically, what happens? Everybody sees it. But what happens if you go there and if you see something and you're like, wow, it looks very nice. Look at the car, look at the turn, look at the lighting, look at the seating, it's over. So basically, you're contemplating. So seeing is basically you saw it and then okay, you turned your attention and you're doing your job. So that is fine. That won't affect you much. But you saw it, but then it's still going on in your mind, just as you saw in the last example. So what happens when the thing is going on in your mind? That is the point where things go wrong. Like we saw in the last example. Last example, what we saw, the person is saying something. Unfortunately, he says something and he got hurt. So what you do? No, I should not say something bad. You try to control. Okay, I want to be calm. Or something. Don't want to say the wrong thing to some person. So, but what happens? Externally we stop, but still the contemplation is going on. So what happens? He said this to me, previous day he said this, he doesn't care, etc. So the contemplation goes on, and eventually you lose control, as we said. So that is the reason what happens here, as it is said, that it starts from Dhyato Visaya Control. It starts from contemplation. When we see something and we leave it, it is just like we are going on this path and we leave it. So basically, we have come back. But instead, if we keep contemplating, that means we are going more further on the wrong path, as I said. So basically, when we go on that path, what happens? Dhayato Visaya Kunsa Sangha Stage Upajayate. Then what happens? We get attracted to it. So basically, we saw a car and we contemplated the car is good. So next step, what we do? Okay, what is the cost? What is my salary? And can I get a EMI for that? So basically, we start for the mortgage. Okay, how can I do it? So that is the second step. And what's the third step? Once we are attached, then we start looking for it. Okay, and we'll go to the bank, we try it online, we try to see how much is the cost, how much interest will come, etc. We start to see. Then Sangha stage upajayate, Sangha sajjayate kama. From that, a deep desire starts to be created, which we call it as lust, we say, but it can be a deep desire. It can be anything which is very, in the form of hankering. Anything that we hanker for is known as basically kama, which is called it as desire. So if if we saw something and we left it, so that is easy. We saw the car, we were like, okay, nice car, but anyways, I have a car, so what the problem? So that is gone. Or if you see you are attracted to it, but then you're like, no, this will make my financial situation tight. So okay, it's good, but it's okay. no problem. Desire, then it becomes a little more difficult. So you have gone three steps ahead. So now what happens? Now living it becomes a little bit more difficult. So now you are going to go to the bank, to go on to the first step. You are going to the bank, you are trying to apply. You are like, okay, I will somehow try to manage, etc. So at the stage, if the bank says, sorry, you don't have sufficient in savings, so we can't give you the loan. Then what happens? We become frustrated. Oh, come on, why is this happening? I want that car. So now you start becoming frustrated. So karma Polo Samuda. So basically, what happens from when we create a deep desire, and now when the desire is not getting fulfilled, so what happens? We are feeling angry that, oh, why is this not happening? If you are, if someone is there and he doesn't do something, so if we accept it, but okay, fine. So if we don't have any hopes from him, if we accept that, okay, it's all right, then we don't feel angry. But it's like, why didn't he do that? So we become angry. If we are attached to it, then obviously we get more disappointed. So in the same way, if we see this example, if we keep on going, it is just like a snowball. Snowball is small like this thing. Then what does? Someone kicks it. So what happens? It rolls down, and what happens? Slowly it becomes so big, it becomes an avalanche. So basically, it becomes so much big that which person kicked it at first, that becomes so big that it can take away that whole person, it can knock away that person itself. So in the same way, what happens? If we leave it at the first stage, it becomes easy. But if we let it go further and further and further, then what happens? It becomes more difficult. Like if the horse is going on the wrong direction, and if you are putting it at the first step, then it becomes easier to come back. But if it's gone so far away, you have to pull it all the way back here. So that much effort you need to put. So in the same way, same goes to our mind also. If initially, if someone says something wrong, or in our mind we feel tempted, and immediately if we engage ourselves in doing something better, exercising, or all right, no worries, etc., or connecting. Best thing is, as we saw, ultimately connecting with God and doing something constructive. So in that way, what happens? It becomes easier to follow. But if we contemplate on that, then what happens? We feel resentful inside. We feel angry. We feel resentful. And after a certain stage, if we keep contemplating, if we feel more and more resentful, what happens? We then get the urge that now I want to tell. Sometimes we plan. If he comes, I will tell this, and this, so that he will be quiet. So we start to imagine. And obviously, when we say, then again something problems, and then anger comes. So these are the different stages. So the more we go on the wrong direction, the problem is it becomes difficult for us to come on the right direction. Just think, we are trying to become a good person, but when we go in the wrong direction, unfortunately, because we couldn't control it, so what happens? Coming back also becomes difficult. And in that process, what happens? Because doing the right thing has become difficult, then we sometimes give up. We give up determination. We take up your resolution, but because we missed 2 days, 3 days, then next day doing it becomes very difficult. We need more determination for that. But eventually, what happens? We leave it. Okay, no problem. Let's see some time is. So that is the reason what we need to do. We need to first of all earlier the better. They say, right? The early bird catches the fish. So in the same way, what we need to do, we need to the quicker we take control of our mind, that much is the better. So as we said, first it starts with contemplation that creates attraction. Okay, I want it. Then it creates a deep desire. So we start planning for it, and when it doesn't get fulfilled, we become angry or agitated. And going on further, obviously, it doesn't end there. So from anger, complete delusion arises. So when we get angry, so what happens when we become angry? We don't know what is right and what is wrong. We are in a particular zone that okay, now I want to do it. So basically, in from anger, when delusion arises, we don't know what is right and what is wrong. We will speak just as we saw in the previous verse. Study intelligence means knowing what is right and able to retreat the mind on the right path. But unfortunately, when we get to the stage of anger, usually when we try to control, and eventually we get to the stage of angerness, resentfulness, and urge comes. So when if we get to that stage, then that is where it becomes very difficult. Because we need that much determination, that is very difficult. And if we give it, then what happens after anger? Delusion. So now we are in kind of, we are stuck. Now we don't know what is right and what is wrong. Just like if you wanted a car and we didn't get it, now we're frustrated. So we don't know what is right and what is wrong. Now if we say to that person, that angry person, if we say, my friend, you don't have that much salary, so don't try to buy it. She is not going to. We know that. So when you are that much attached, you won't be able to take the right path. Now you are like, I don't care, I just need it. So that is the reason why if the more you go on the wrong path, it becomes difficult to come back. And then what happens? Obviously, when you don't know the right and the wrong, obviously now coming on the right path becomes more and more dense. It's just like in the forest. You went on the wrong path. Now there are too many forests and bushes and woods. Now finding the right path becomes almost is almost impossible. I don't know where it take. In that way it happens. So now coming back also becomes difficult. And after delusion, what becomes bewilderment of memory. So we just don't know how it all started. And finally, what happens when memory is bewildered? Intelligence is lost. And intelligence is lost, we fall down again into this material pool. So basically we saw what to do and what not to do. So what to do? First, know what is right by studying the scriptures. Then immediately, instead of contemplating again and again, chewing the chew, instead of that, immediately engage yourself. And when you are engaging yourself, stay on that, act on that, and connect to the Supreme. So in that way, you improve yourself, self-discipline comes, and obviously we get satisfaction also. And eventually, when we go further, what happens? We see others, others people become what is it? Inspired by you. Okay, he took a resolution, he's doing it every day. He's eating good, he's going to gym. They will ask, hey, how are you doing? So basically, you can tell them, I follow this and this. So they will also follow. So basically, in that way, not only you are changing yourself, but you are contributing to the society as well. Which is what many people think. I want to create a change in this world. So in this way, what happens? This is what the trick is. We need to control. But because we are stuck there, many times because we don't know what is right and what is wrong, that is the one of the half, if you're not confident, then result we lose half the battle. So when we know the right thing and we engage ourselves, instead of simply repressing it, no, don't do. Instead of that, if you engage yourself, then you come to the right track and you can do the change. This is what self-discipline is. You don't feel like doing it, but still you stop it and you engage it anyhow. This is what discipline means. So what happens is because it is easier to go to running and all when it is a sunny day. But when it is too windy or when it is cloudy, it's very difficult because you're attached to how we feel. But doing it irrespective of how you feel. This is what is known as determination. And that can be done when we stop contemplating. That's why these two verses are interrelated. So the first thing is know what is right, stop contemplating, and just engage. Just they say, right, just do it. So in the same way, what we need to do, know the right thing and just engage yourself. So in this way, what happens? Eventually, as you keep doing, there's a habit. So once it becomes a habit, then it becomes more easier. So basically, determination becomes more easier as we said. So then eventually, as it goes further, then what it is said that ragadvesha vimuktastu vishayanitriyaistaran atma vishaye vidyatma prasadam abhigachati. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principle of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, as we said. We can control it, but unless the senses are engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of the fall. Although a person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. A Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachments and detachment. If Krishna wants, a devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or not to act is within his control because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which a devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform. Then, prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasyopajayate prasanna cheta sohyasho buddhi parva vasishtate. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established, which we were speaking. So, to understand this, so basically, as we said, we understood, as I said, what we do, we change ourselves, we change the society, and what we said ultimately, we connect to the Supreme. So, where does this determination come? We might say, how to change my mindset. Okay, you do this and this. Okay, how to, do the right thing. Okay, you engage yourself. To engage yourself, what you need? Determination. So, how will this determination come? When we try to, go deeper and deeper. Okay, so like I want to change my life. Okay, make some plans. So okay, I want to implement that plans. Don't think too much, execute it. Okay, I don't want. I how to execute it. You need determination. So how to get that determination? So we have come to the almost to the last point. So how to get this determination? So when you are determined and you execute it, eventually what happens? You become disciplined. And eventually what happens? You get that proper intelligence and steady intelligence. This is what we are talking. So this intelligence is what we get when we come in touch with the Supreme Lord. So ultimately, what happens that when we are get connected to the Supreme through the process of yoga, which we say, even everybody says that through yoga you are able to stay calm. Through yoga, it's good for your health. So basically, what ultimately yoga is, that is what we saw. That when we focus ourselves, the consciousness on the Supreme, and we act according to that, then it is basically what we do. We are basically connected to the Supreme, and through that, what happens? As you saw, he gets the causeless mercy of the Lord. So basically, what happens that as we say that we need to go on the right path. So when we get connected to the Supreme, then what happens? We get an empowerment. So how to understand this? For example, that if you come to me, you are very much disturbed that life has this much problems. But you go to someone, and if he says, okay, no problem, say this is your condition, you do this, then think, see, your problem gets solved in this much years. So you are like, okay, good, thank you very much, let me do it. You get inspired, you get motivated, and you start working on that work. So the same way, when God gives us this much knowledge in the form of scriptures, and when we follow that and we connect to Him through chanting, and as well as engaging in service, coming to the places, engaging in various kind of services, etc. As we said, ultimately. So what happens when we ultimately engage in service and chanting and all? We get connected to Him, and when we get connected to Him, we get empowered by Him. Just for example, you see, we have one phone. So basically, what happens until unless the bulb is connected to the main transistor, when it is connected via the wires to the transistor, then automatically what happens? The flow comes from the transistor and automatically bulb goes. So in the same way, we get the empowerment when we connect to the Supreme by studying the scriptures, and then studying the scriptures, then we chant His holy names, etc. So in this way, what happens? We connect to Him. And automatically, what happens to this? Automatically, we are able to get a peace of mind. This frustration and all this goes. So even we see in the university, there was a university study that what is meditation all about. People say that what is meditation? It is, it's based on what is medical benefits and also. When they found that what is the benefit of chanting the holy names, of course it is spiritual in nature, but still if when they try to understand its nature, what they get by chanting, there are two ways. There is one left side of our brain and right side of the brain. This is said to be more creative. This is more analytical, etc. So etc. So when we are too much frustrated, the waves of both the brains are up and down. So basically, they are not in sync. So that is one of the reasons why we feel very frustrated and confused. And immediately, as you start chanting the holy name, it was detected that your mind becomes more synchronized, and automatically you get that peace of mind. So this is just a basic level. But in this way, what happens as we get more connected to the Supreme and we read the scriptures, we get on the right path. Automatically, what happens? We get empowered through it. And in that way, what happens? Just like a person who is hungry. So if the hungry, as soon as he eats and his stomach is like half full, now you bring anything before him, he won't feel tempted. He's like, okay, I'll add my weight, so there is no problem. So in the same way, this is just we obviously will feel hungry the next day. But just when you are going to be in touch with the Supreme always, you will get connected to God, you will get connected to Supreme always. You won't be like, okay, now I feel good, I will leave. So you will always like to feel good. Obviously, we want to have a good life, we want to have connection, we want to feel pleasure or bliss from within. So once we get connected, we feel empowered and we are living a good life. Just like you are going to gym and now you are feeling so good, health is good. You won't leave suddenly, okay, I feel good. This was a really good experience. Okay, let me leave it. You won't leave it. You will be like, okay, let me follow it for life and let me tell others so that I can improve others as well. So, in the same way, when you get connected to the Supreme and you feel inner bliss, inner satisfaction, which people say. So, you obviously won't be leaving that process. You will still stay in that process. And through that inner pleasure, what happens? You will never get tempted from outside. People say, right, that you to disturb me, need my permission, or amidst calamity, how to stay calm. So, all these questions, what happens? When the basement is strong, when you're building something, if the basement is strong, then whatever you build, it is going to be strong. There is not going to be any tension or something what will happen. The same way, when we are strong from within, just like if we have a steady intelligence, we are connected to Supreme and we are having internal pleasure. It is just like a person who is satiated. A person who has eaten sufficiently and is satiated. Okay. Now, whatever comes in life, whatever someone brings, hey, this is a sweet, do you want it? Hey, this is a snack, do you want it? He will feel like, oh, no, I'm happy, thank you very much. So the same way, this is what basically we need to do. We, these small things we analyze, but because we don't notice that, unfortunately, which is actually given in our scriptures, then we are able to relate. Oh, okay, in this way. So when we start living it, we might know something. Some people notice it. Okay, but until unless apply it in your life, you won't be able to realize that. Okay, this is the power of studying the scriptures. So that is the reason what we need to do: studying the scriptures, following it, and living it according to that in our whole life. So through this, what happens? As I said, when you get an internal pleasure, ultimately you are not, you can become steady. Okay, eventually you become faithful. Your faith increases in this process. You have some friend. Okay, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, go together. He always stood when things were bad. So automatically, what happens? Your faith increases. Whatever happens, this guy will not cheat me. He will be always in my side. So the same way, when we follow this process, when we know that okay, I am following these things and this is leading me on the right path, eventually it is also giving me the satisfaction and improving me. And eventually I got connected to the Supreme Lord and I'm feeling internal bliss. So when you get till here, obviously the faith in this process becomes so strong that you obviously won't leave that process. And obviously you will be helping others to also realize how to come on the right track. So in this process, what happens? Eventually you gain that much internal bliss and you become that much steady. So this is ultimately the thing. So what we are, as we said, to become stable, it's not, it's just not conditional. I just, if I get become stable in going to the gym, that is enough. It's from within. If you are self-disciplined, whether it be going to the gym or avoiding something, some snack, you'll be able to do everything. So basically, when we build that internal bliss, that right knowledge, that right determination, then automatically, whatever be the external situation, it won't be affecting you. So when we build ourselves from within, what spirituality does? We can say what tangible effect does it give? Someone might say, I am studying maths, I am studying electronics. Through that, I am working in a company, I am getting benefit. External benefit, tangible benefit, I am getting by studying all this. Of course, that is useful. But what benefit are we getting by studying scriptures? That is basically that is building us from within. That's electronics and all this knowledge are building us from outside. But obviously, those things changes with time. But when we study scriptures, that builds us from inside. Okay, how to live life? How to earn in life. It's taught by the different subjects which you study in school. But how to live life and how to guide others in life, how to build us from within, that is taught us through our scriptures. So that is the reason we actually need spirituality. So we can see many people are actually, if you see that self care, it's all going on. Then people are after that. They need self care. They want self discipline. They want how to know the right thing, etc. All this. They are searching for peace ultimately. So these peace, how will you get when you are strong from within? And this knowledge is actually what is given in our scriptures. So when you study the scriptures, when you are determined to immediately engage yourself and connect to the supreme, then ultimately you feel inner bliss and you feel the inner pleasure. So when you come here, it's obvious. So automatically your senses becomes controlled and eventually you are able to stay on the right path. So this is what actually controlling our senses or snake charmer is. Because it's very easy, getting distracted is very easy. You might think of something, for example, you are planning something happens, someone comes and he says something, all your plans get cancelled. So that's why to stay on the right path, when you are internally, sober, then automatically controlling the senses, controlling the mind, self-discipline becomes easier. So this is the benefit which we get when we follow our scriptures. So this is what we need to practice. Obviously, it takes time. Trying it alone, going to gym alone is difficult. But when you have a friend who also goes, it's very easy. So that's why what we need to do, when we come in association of people who are following the scriptures and all, who are already connecting themselves to the Supreme, then what happens? We are trying, we are asking for advice, they are also helping, and in that way, what happens? The journey becomes easier. So this is what actually spirituality ultimately is. Basically, spirituality, it's never that a spiritual person, it can never happen that person is a good spiritualist but a bad person. It can never happen. Basically, it's a byproduct. Yeah, once you start spirituality, yeah, you eventually gain knowledge of what is right in life, what is right to do in life. So eventually, first thing that happens is basically you build yourself from within. So automatically you become a better person. So that is the reason what happens by following spirituality. Automatically become a better person. You become a good contribution to the society, and ultimately you realize your relation with the supreme, attain that internal pleasure, your connection with the Lord, and ultimately you obviously contribute the same thing outside. So this is what we need to practice, as I said. Any questions regarding this? Was I too fast or quick or something?
Very clear.
Okay. Alright, we are just in time. So thank you everyone. Thank you for in case any doubts, you can anytime reach out to me or Manu Prabhuji. So thanks to everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's have our Kirtan. So we'll start with our Kirtan and thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की सैगौर देव। There's a small announcement. Today is Keith Prabhu's birthday. We'll chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra together to give shower blessings upon him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We'll also cut cake. By the way, the cake is prepared by Mariana Mataji. She had to leave unfortunately, so she will not leave.
My good relation. Hare Krishna.